Welcome back, guys, to another how to play Cities Skylines video. For today, I want to get into not enough workers. Let's get started. So first and foremost, you're going to see my generic industry. Everything looks good. It's all filled in. We have cars. We have pretty much everything going great. Then I click off and you can see we have a lot of empty buildings. Now, one of the things that I wanted to focus on was right in front of us, and that little red icon. You're gonna see not enough workers. So how do we fix this not enough worker problem? Because clearly in my city, it is causing havoc, like absolute havoc in my city. So for today, I'm going through the top 5 tips on how to save your city and fix not enough workers. Let's get started. So for tip number 1, you're gonna see on the screen in front of you that we have 0 out of 8 educated workers. So on the screen in front of you, you're gonna see that we wanna go through and make sure we have every single sim is well educated. And you can see the middle chunk of our residential area has no, like you can see our high school education is high, but guess what? We have a lot of red, and you can also see the university is not doing what it's supposed to. So tip number 1 is make sure that all your sims are very well educated. So now we do have a couple different areas, parts of our city where they are educated pretty decently, but what we want to do is we want to increase the education. So on the screen in front of you, you can see that we only have 800 availability for high school, and we have 1,425. Well, now it's increasing a little bit, but you can see that our high school, we need a high school basically. Like I know that overall it showed that we had enough high school capacity, but we really didn't. So what we're gonna do is we are going to expand out our high school and our elementary schools just to make sure. So just let me give you a little bit of basis for this video. Originally, I was supposed to build a downtown. Clearly, this is not a downtown, and clearly you saw my city was absolutely struggling when it came to not enough workers. So what I wanted to do for this, obviously, was to fix the not enough workers. So I wanted to make sure that our education went above and beyond, because once you add a lot of high density downtown buildings, you're gonna need that education as fast as humanly possible. So what I'll do is just to change up from the normal schools, I'm gonna use the Creative Arts Museum, then potentially the high capacity elementary school, because we're gonna want all of our kids to go to school, and essentially we just don't want to think about education when we're building high density. So we just plop both of them down pretty quickly, and we added water. And overall, this is a very simple tip. Number 1 is just make sure you're adding education, and just to let you guys know, education does take time to start up in your city. So just because you plop it doesn't mean your citizens will be educated in the next, it takes a little bit of time, right? It won't be like 5 seconds, but that's tip number 1. Make sure your sims are well educated. So tip number 2 is make sure there's multiple ways to get to work from your residential area. So multiple road connections. As you'll see later on, I will also add paths to this part of the city and other parts of the city. So this makes sure it enables citizens are able to walk and commute to work. That will definitely help the not enough workers problem. This is probably one of the more simple solutions, but as you can tell, we have ways to go, and you can see that, it's just not working. So we have to move on to tip number 3. So for tip number 3, we want to look at residential demand. Do we have enough residents that will be able to handle the amount of jobs that we have in our industrial area? So what I'm going to do is, you can see right there is I'm just going to go in, and you're going to see a speed up rendering of it. So don't worry, you're not going to see the detailed play-by-play of me making a grid. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm adding more residential to meet our demand. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, our residential demand is almost at an all-time high. It's basically as high as it can go. Now, as time goes on, this will eventually fill in. So again, this solution of adding residential, this will take time, just like education. This will take time to grow. This will take time to build. So far, we still have not figured out how to fix not enough workers, but this is all leading to fixing the problem. This, it's multiple problems, not just one thing. So as we keep growing, and you can see our residential is filling in and our traffic flow, whoa, that looks a little funkalicious, but everything is growing and filling in nicely, but now we need to keep moving on. So as you can see right in front of you, we have a bus station. We have 517 people riding the bus. So another issue in our city is our employees don't have any way to get to work. This is kind of leading back to the multiple road connections to our generic industry. So as you can see, our city is still struggling. And what I would like to do is add more ways to get to work. And that means we need to add another form of transportation in our city. So what I'm gonna do is, in a real world, by the way, Metro would not be a thing at 15,000 residents. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a train depot. If you use the MOM mod, you will need to place down the train depot, but like 99% of you don't use the MOM mod, so I'm just gonna fast forward and we're gonna start building train lines. So what we're doing is, in our industrial area, we're gonna add a couple different metro train lines. Now, why is this such a good idea? Well, metro train stations are more efficient than the buses, and it's definitely way easier to add a metro line. These metro lines are 1x1 squares, and as you can see, I'm fitting them into very popular parts of our town. So we're in front of a university, we are in front of our shopping center. We basically have a metro station in every single part of our residential areas, and that will make things go a lot smoother. So what we need to do is we need to connect these metro lines to make sure, hey, we need to get these people to work. And I know I'm going fast forward rendering, but you guys have seen Cities Skylines like 100,000 times, and you already know how to add these metro lines and make sure that everything is working a-okay. And adding these metro lines, they're all underground, so I feel like this is a little bit cleaner of a way of adding transportation because it's all underground, you don't see it, and we also don't have train lines. So one of the last things is, if you do use the MOM mod, make sure you connect your train depot. Basically, the train depot acts like a bus depot, so then this way we have trains that are coming in and out of our city, in and out of the depot, so then this way the trains can actually get created. So now that we have the train depot in place, what we're going to do is quickly add our train lines. So what I'll ultimately do is I'm going to add 3 different train lines to our city and just make sure everything is connected in a circuit. So one of our circuits is going left and right, or east and west, and going 2 separate directions. Now, let's see the final product. So now that we fast forwarded to a little bit, you can see that everything is looking a lot better. Now, once I hit that escape button though, will everything actually be better? So now that I hit the escape button, everything looks a lot better. Sure, we do have a couple buildings that show not enough workers, but a majority of the buildings are saved and they don't have that issue at all. And overall, our city is doing much better since we added our top 5 tips. So what we're gonna look at first is, remember that metro line. So we're gonna zoom in and you can see that 95 people a week are using it. But if we look closer, you can see the blue line has 212 passengers, and then the green line has 45, and we just installed them. So this means that people are using the transportation to get around our city. Essentially what the metro also does is get people off the streets and off of driving. So essentially clearing traffic on top of getting people to work. And you can see clearly we have people walking around to and from work. So now that gets me to another point. What I added was paths. around my industrial area. Now you're gonna be like, well, why did you do that? Well, Sims love walking around the city. So they can go from the metro and they can go around to different parts of our industrial area very, very easily. And this way they don't have a long walk to work. Like, these paths save so much time. And you can see over here, I even added a path over a highway into our residential area. And as you can see, people are going to work. So this kind of goes with the multiple ways to get to work. If it's paths, if it's buses, if it's metro, you know, just a simple path can get people to work. And overall, again, it worked out very, very well, because you could see on the screen in front of you that we really don't have too many issues. So now here on the one of the last things I did add was a compact bus station. And that is from the Cities Skylines Plaza and Promenades DLC. Basically, it is a small bus terminal, and I did create a few different bus lines that go around our industrial area. But overall, guys, that was essentially how to fix not enough workers in Cities Skylines. And now my city is ready for massive expansion. Please let me know in the comments section below, what did you like about this video? Thank you for watching. Have a great day.